And we're live, folks. Fire Frank, Charlie to my right, looks like on the screen. Chat, thanks for joining us. Charlie, how you doing today?
Good.
Good to
Letting the
see you.
WrestleMania fallout sink in and see how I really feel about how everything played out.
Excellent. And we could talk about how right or how wrong we were about a week ago when we came live on here last
Yes.
Wednesday, was it? So, yeah, okay. So, hopefully, everybody had a good week. If you did watch the shows, I hope you enjoyed them. Yeah, so we had a lot of stuff going on. I tried to catch a few things that just was impossible. I have Fight Plus. I'll try to go back and cherry pick some of the stuff that I was recommended. But I did get to watch I watched that Blood Sport since it's something different. It's interesting. Not all was good, but there was a couple of cool little things on that. I watched the Impact New Japan crossover show. It was pretty good. I didn't get to watch a lot of the stuff that went on Friday. I didn't see Ring of Honor yet. I know people have recommended some matches to me, so I'll have to check that out. SmackDown was good leading into the show. We had some nice promos. We had Cody rapping. I know you like that, Charlie.
Yeah, it's
the Russo Sami Zayn promo. So yeah, and then we had after that, of course, we had the Hall of Fame. So yeah, a nice little Hall of Fame ceremony this year, I'd say. What are your thoughts on what we got on Friday night?
No, it was good. I like, for the most part, all the speeches were great. I am apparently in the minority that thought Flair did a good job, but
I didn't think he did a bad job. I know he was a little, at first he seemed a little off. I don't know. He was a little like he didn't know where he was going with it, but I thought he pulled it together pretty good. He really was putting Muta over, and it was cool to see him come out and like at a WWE event,
yeah,
the first time. He said thank you. He sprayed the mist, which that's all you really needed to do. So that was fun. Yeah, we had actually had some cool little stuff on the other stuff here. The Coffin family coming out was nice moment. We had Mick and Tori induct Stacy. What did you think of that? That was a pretty cool induction, I thought.
Yeah, Mick did a good job. He looks pale, like something must be wrong with him, but
it's Mick. What do you want? It's Cactus Jack. Yeah, I thought it was a nice little speech. I thought Stacy did a good job. She was very good speaking. That she wasn't before, but I'm glad she got to have that moment. She seemed to be very happy to be there, and the crowd gave a nice response. So that was cool. I see hot cards in the chat. Yeah, Flair. That's definitely a good celebration. Hi, Gina. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, that was a cool moment. Obviously the big main event, as it were, was Rey Mysterio, which Conan had an awesome speech.
Yeah,
as you would expect.
I'm not a fan of Rey Mysterio, but I even thought his speech was great.
Yeah, that was like a great induction speech. He came out. He pretty much hit all the points. I mean, they did a little bit of the storyline stuff with Dom and Rhea walking out.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting people on the stage. We had Dom, Rhea, and Buddy Murphy. We actually had pretty much the whole House of Black, minus
a lot of
minus Julia Hart and Brody King. But yeah, interesting people. Andrade, of course. It was fun to see some cameos on the stage there. Yeah, I thought Ray's was nice. It was a heartfelt speech. I mean, he got time. I mean, I thought the show was pretty good. It was only like maybe 2 hours tops.
Yeah,
a fun red carpet special for it. It was pretty well done. I didn't mind it being like people were complaining there was enough inductees. I thought it was a perfect amount because they gave enough time to everybody. We didn't feel rushed. That's all you really need to do. We don't need those days, those 4-hour plus Hall of Fame ceremonies that go on for long. I remember when Goldberg got in. By the time he came out, it was just like everybody was done, and even he seemed done. But yeah, it was kind of fun. Like I said, they even used it. They didn't overshadow Ray's induction with the Dominic thing, but it was cool. He was having a good time sitting there watching his father be inducted, despite the fact that he was.
They still watched from backstage.
Yeah, that must have been a real cool moment for them.
Yeah.
So that was nice to get him get his flowers while he's still around. So it was worth it. It played off both things there. Played off the storyline. Cool speech. Yeah, so that was a pretty fun show. So then we had a lot of stuff going on. We had stuff overnight. I didn't get to watch any of that. I finally got a little bit of sleep, and then we all woke up in time to watch some Stand and Deliver. So I know you watched, Charlie, and you've been trying to catch up on NXT lately. So what did you think about this latest offering?
For someone who doesn't watch NXT that much, I thoroughly enjoyed the whole show.
Yeah, for sure. what were your standout like matches or any talent that stood out on the show for you?
The women's ladder match was great to start things off. What else was there? There was the main event was awesome. What match was there that really stood out?
I know. Well, it was,
the five-way match.
Sure, yeah, right. North American title, yeah.
Forget about it, yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy match. As we figured it would be. I know we talked about it on the show. It probably would steal the show, and it did. I mean, the women's ladder match, it was a little rough to start, but they kind of got it together. Bit of a shocking ending.
Yeah,
there in that opening ladder match. Nobody was picking Indy. She did come in the last second. I mean, good for her. I mean, she's been around for a while now there in NXT, and the crowd was into her. Even there in LA, they were pretty much behind her at the end. A little shocking to see a title change. I don't think a lot of us were expecting it, but what this means for Roxanne, we don't know. But it was a cool little ending with Dexter coming out. If anybody who's been watching NXT for at least the last couple of years, with the whole the Way stuff, which also paid off later. Maybe it wasn't the most popular thing at the time, but it did a lot for the people in it. So, especially for Indy and in theory, obviously. But that was a fun little thing. The 5-way was nuts. Obviously, we saw Dragon Lee debut. Obviously, he fit right in with the rest of these guys. These guys were they were going at it full speed.
Definitely.
Sharp. Like, everything was impressive, slick. The finish was really slick with the double. Like, Dragunov hits the torpedo Moscow, and then the cardiac kick, as they call it, for Mr. Lee West, that is. Cool finish. He kept the title, which I did predict on the show, so I felt good about that. Obviously, we all expected Braun to win that main event, and he did. What do you think about the way they booked that? It was kind of weird. They were trying to go for the face thing, but then you had that spot the ref was down, and then Melo taps, but the ref don't see it. What did you think of that? And then Trick hits with the belt. It was a little weird, right?
It was.
Considering where we wound up going with the story on Tuesday's NXT, it's definitely a little kind of strange. I'm sure maybe if they had a do-over, they wouldn't have bothered doing that. Just had a straight match, but it was good. I mean, it wasn't great. I wouldn't say it was pretty good.
Which makes you wonder why he shook his hand after he got screwed over. You know,
I know that is very odd. But it was a pretty fun show. Probably their strongest offering in several years. So good for them.
It was good.
They've been hot lately. And we have, ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. We have a wild JML has appeared. So
bring him in,
everybody. Are you ready? There he
is.
You hear me?
Yep.
You're good.
All right. How you doing today? You hear me? Okay. Anyway, we were just finishing talking about NXT. So if you got to see any of Stand to Deliver, what did you think? Their JML.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Good. Sorry. I didn't know I was getting brought on right away. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Pretty good. Sorry, we were just kind of finishing our thoughts on NXT there, so I figured it'd be a good time to just bring you in here. A little run-in.
Cool.
Chat saying hello. Chat saying hello to you right now.
Audio real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead. Everybody's saying hello. Thanks again, guys, for joining us.
All right, you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. You can't hear us. Though.
So weird.
We're live, guys.
The beauty of being
live streaming here.
I know what it is. There we go. Okay, now talk.
Yes.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
We're back. Cool. Charlie looks like he's confused.
No, I saw JML freezing in the corner and I was worried.
Oh, okay.
The problem was the audio was coming out of my computer. It needed to come out of my headphones.
Oh, okay, got it.
We're good. Anyways, we were just wrapping up talking about we talked about the Hall of Fame a little bit. We were just talking about NXT's Stand and Deliver event. So we were just discussing the Melo Braun main event and the follow-up from that.
Well,
so what did you think?
It was kind of interesting considering we all thought Braun would make his way to the main roster after this loss. We all kind of figured he would lose, but then on this week's NXT, he turns heel.
Right.
Which is interesting. It's an interesting wrinkle. I guess they didn't want to bring him to the main roster and make him a heel. I guess they wanted him to be a heel
Get his
in
line under that
NXT
first.
first.
Yeah, I can see that being good for him. At least to work heel for a while, but just so when they bring him up, they'll whatever they need him to do when he debuts, he can do. So like if he works heel for a while and they wanted to bring him up as one, they can do that. I think he can do it. I mean, it's definitely something different.
I mean, it really seems like eventually they're going to turn Trick on Carmelo.
Yeah, they kind of teased that. We were saying it was kind of weird the way they did that kind of interference in the match because it was kind of a face setting, and then that happens. But then at the end of the match, he just shakes his hand anyway. He kind of ignores the fact that Trick ran in. I don't know. I don't
necessarily think Trick's going to be the one that takes the title off of him. I think it's going to be Waller, if anyone.
Okay. Yeah, I hope so.
Charlie's big into Waller now. Yeah, we didn't even talk about that match yet. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like Trick and Melo as a duo. So I don't know. Like if you bring them up as heels, I'd rather them be together. I think they've helped each other out. I mean, obviously Carmelo's got a lot more experience. Trick is actually just a PC trainee, right? So
what's up, Jeff?
He's doing a good job. But yeah, I can see. I don't know if they're going to keep Waller. Like it looks like we don't know. I mean, there could be something happens. I mean, we have tomorrow night. We don't know, but they're not. It doesn't look like they're going for a bunch of call-ups post-Mania, maybe, and that's okay because they don't always have to do that. But Waller definitely could have a run with the title. I mean, yeah, that match. We didn't even talk about the match with Gargano. What did you think of that, Charlie? That was pretty wild match.
It was an intense match. It was good. I was the only one rooting for Waller, but what are you gonna do?
Oh, because you watch with a bunch of you know what?
No, I watched Stand and Deliver by myself.
Oh.
No, he's definitely
so the only one. I mean, you were the only one.
No, out of the three of us.
Oh no, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I wouldn't mind if he had one Willis.
Oh, it must be the other show.
It's the other show. The other show.
Oh, we don't talk about that here. Okay, yeah, this is the A show, folks.
Oh
shit.
No, I'm not taking shots at your guys. I'm just saying this is our show. I'm gonna get a lot of hate. I like tell them if they see this. Hi guys, you do good work. Thank you for being nice to Charlie all the time too. We need him in a good mood when he comes on our show. Anyway, yeah, no, Waller's great. He's great. He's improved a lot. He's got like that Miz vibe about him, but also maybe he's just unique as well. His style is different. So I think he could be a big star someday. Honestly.
Oh, definitely.
The right treatment, yeah, for sure. He checks all the boxes. I mean, maybe he's not the biggest guy, but he can talk. He's got the personality. He can go out, do media. He had some kind of like fame back in his native Australia. So
no, that is incorrect.
Yeah, that's correct.
I guess we'll just go right into it.
Oh,
yeah, we might as well jump ahead to the real.
We sort of have an event to talk about that went on this week.
We can, but this also was going on at the same time. Kind of broke.
A little thing called WrestleMania happened.
No,
we'll get there.
So as far as neither one owns either. It's a merger. Right. So it's one new company under one umbrella.
Right.
Technically, if you want to look at it, UFC was like valued at $12 billion and WWE was like a little over $9 billion.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you look at shares, like Vince made out like a bandit in this deal.
As you knew you would.
So like if you're really where the power lies is Ari Emanuel's number one.
Right.
And then like it seems like the number two person actually right now is Vince McMahon. Like so Dana White's not even the number two guy.
No.
I'm sure he loves that too. I mean, yeah, but it seems like you're right. But it's like it's a merger. Like so they technically purchase controlling shares of WWE essentially, but so they're really Vince is like you said second command, but he's technically answering.
He made himself an employee. He's got a contract. For 2 years.
Last week when that contract leaked about him having a 2-year contract, what did you say right away? Said they're being sold very soon.
Yeah.
Maybe this weekend too. I think we talked about it, the possibility right after Mania. and here we are. News actually was leaked on Sunday, but right before night 2. So yeah, so essentially, it's basically you can say they're merger. They're not like on the same network and all this, but they're all under the same umbrella, like you said. So like say when somebody owned multiple teams or multiple things, so it's like that.
Yep, it's one. It's like Viacom and all these big conglomerates.
Yeah, so. And definitely, we talked about obviously months ago when all the talk about this possible sale was coming out about who's most likely. And I know we'll have to give J-Mel his flowers again on this very program. What did he say? Who was most likely? I think
#I called it T-shirts coming out soon.
For sure. Endeavor. And it's funny because Emmanuel spent the last couple months kind of downplaying it, which is obviously just trying to throw a little thing. They've obviously been working on this for a while. If you watch like the interview they did on ESPN, was it ESPN? Whatever the channel was with Vince and Ari Emanuel together, it's like he essentially insinuated that this was going to go down regardless of what happened with his whole situation last year. So it looks like they've been talking about this for a while.
They're friends. They've been friends for like 20 plus years. So.
They admire each other. People wonder. I know there's a lot of angry people online right now, but they're wondering why would they want him to be part of the deal? I mean, he's only the most successful promoter in the history of wrestling business. So
correct.
Only that, right? So he's going to want somebody there to work on the business side. Yeah. So essentially, he's an employee of them now. So it's like it's hard to explain to people because they're thinking, there's like, well, he no longer has a controlling interest. He owns the most shares of WWE stock, but the problem with that is now that's only 49% of this new company.
Yep.
So it's a minority stake. So what that means for how they run the business, it's a little murky, but in theory, he has to answer to his boss now, which never happened before. So for the first time in 40 years, they're
going to let him be.
Yeah, they're going to let him be. I'm just saying, but it's so weird to think about that he technically does not own it. That McMahon does not own this company for the first time.
So we'll go now back in time to night 1 WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Which by all accounts, I mean, I watched it too, obviously, but
yeah, we all did.
Is universally acclaimed as being the better night.
Oh, yeah.
Which I would agree with.
It's tended to happen when they started doing these 2 nights, like the first night over delivers and the second.
They compensate for not having the main event.
Yeah, and you said it yourself though. When you saw the card revealed, you're like, "Wow, night 1 is stacked. This is going to be the show."
I think that was all of our initial thought.
For sure. Like, I mean, it was crazy. Like, I don't think you could have made it any better unless you just swapped out. I don't know what you would even swap out. So I couldn't even say that. You know what I mean? So yeah, what could you say about that night 1? Unless if this also had that triple threat from night 2, it would probably be one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time. But it was pretty close. It was definitely up there as far as recent history, maybe of all time. A lot of people were saying that coming out of night 1. I mean, what was your highlights there, Charlie? What was your favorite match of night 1?
Favorite match of night 1?
There's a couple good ones to choose from.
I am going to go with a dark horse pick and say
go ahead, man.
The 4-way men's tag.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was good.
I think that match had no shot turning out as good as.
I think I told you that that could be a sleeper there, and they pretty much made the most of the 10 minutes or so they were given.
It was good. That was a great match.
At least we got something out of it, right? For something that meant nothing, we got something out of it. It actually did lead to something the next night on Raw. So. For sure. So yeah, we had a couple of big matches. Obviously, we had some big entrances. We had Cena with the Make-A-Wish kids, cool new shirt. Which
how did you guys feel that match went over? It feels like Cena had some ring rust. Obviously,
oh yeah,
it was very basic. I would say
it looks like he didn't tan.
No,
he was very pale. It was very cookie cutter. Like, I'm glad he put Theory over, but I don't know. It just seemed.
It wasn't your typical.
Seemed like the announcers didn't really sell it either. Like, they didn't sell it as a big victory.
It wasn't your typical that we used to come to expect from Big Match John, as JBL like to call him, on a WrestleMania, obviously. Like I said, he hasn't been around, ring rust, didn't look in the best shape. He's very busy. Seemed like he just wanted to make sure to come here and put him over, and that was his whole purpose. He made only one TV appearance leading up to it. It was fine. It kind of fell flat as an opener because it wasn't much of a, like I said, it was very cookie cutter. It was like a TV match. It wasn't terrible or anything like that.
Channel made a good point. The announcers didn't celebrate.
Yeah.
Enough.
And the way they booked the finish, honestly, was very cheap. I mean, I know you want to cheat the low blow. I don't know. It was very basic heel work. I didn't really. I think they could have done a better job, at least with the finish. But I mean, at least he got put over, I guess. We'll see if that leaves anything. He seems to be trying to start this kind of pseudo Randy Orton legend killer type of thing. So hopefully that works out for him. But he did look, at least coming out, he looked like a star. Cool entrance with the cameras. A lot of cool production work on this show. The set, obviously, we talked about off air, how cool it looked.
What's up, Russ?
So it was all right. I don't know if it was the hottest opener put out. Not that again, we also, I mean, to be honest, I think we probably got more out of the Omos Brock match the next night as an opener as far as actual cool moments. But seeing it coming out, the crowd got really into it right away. So I guess in that regard, it helped.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it was loaded. That night it was loaded.
It was loaded. We even got a bonus Pat McAfee match out of nowhere. So
the main event, we had the Charlotte Ripley match.
Yep.
Right. Well. We talked about, like, people debated which should go on last. Well, both hit it out of the park, to be honest. So you can make your argument either way. Although I think they still made the right choice at the end. But
it seems like Charlotte is
taking some more time off, right?
Just getting more time off.
I mean, she didn't phone it in, that's for sure. Knowing if that's her last match for a while.
And it seemed like it almost, in a lot of ways, seemed like a retirement match for her. Like the way she kind of like was very like smiling at the end of the match. Like it just like broke character. Because usually Charlotte would have just been like bitter that she lost the match in character.
It's like she was smiling knowing that she's in good hands. Yeah, it was a little weird. When she did that, I had a feeling, is she going away again? She just came back. It looks like apparently her and Andrade taking a vacation. I think he's telling people his contract's up soon, by the way. That's something we can talk about later. But
I'd gladly welcome him back.
But this match, I mean, longest women's match in WrestleMania history, over 25 minutes. Incredible. It started off a little slow, but once they got going, it was like I was watching at this restaurant, Burke's here in Yonkers, and one of our servers was a big fan. He kept coming over and checking out like all these. And as this match went on, it was just like crazy moving. It was very physical, very clean, very crisp.
Charlotte was dropped on her dome. How many times in that match?
Yeah, that was that one on the German release. Ooh, I thought she would like broke her nose for a second.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they had a great match a couple years back. Their first one, this obviously outdid that. I mean, what else can you do for Rhea? She got like a real strong moment here. Crowd was into it. We were all into it. Like Charlotte's taking some out. If this is like her last, like if she's like going to be like far from a full timer anymore, we have to give her flowers. I know a lot of people don't want to like Charlotte because they have this weird obsession.
She's one of the greatest ever.
She's this first, right? And then she says certain things sometimes that hurts her.
Who's the better in-ring worker, Charlotte or Trish? There should be no debate.
Yeah,
it's Charlotte.
It's pretty obvious. Maybe years from now, people will realize, they
won't appreciate until she's gone.
Much like
gone for a while, like Cena.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like she's like always like you never see her. I mean, she's had her moments, but like when it comes to these big matches, she went out there and put her over strong, and I respect that.
It made up for 2 years ago where she should have put her over, or the company should have put her over.
2020,
Ripley.
yeah. But this felt like her real true. I mean, she had a WrestleMania title win already, obviously, Rhea, but this is her first. This is like her true. You're a star now. I mean, we were in if she was, but this is like
performance.
And we're gonna be building around you for a long time to come. And she's only 26. She's got a long career ahead of her. I can't put this over enough. 5 stars for me or maybe I'll go 6 stars even, just because.
All the stars.
I'll be back in two minutes, guys.
Sure.
You guys can continue on.
Okay. We can talk about some of the other stuff around. I mean, a lot of cool entrances. I'll be honest. We went to this restaurant. They were showing the Final Four, so they didn't have the sound on for WrestleMania until the main event. So that kind of sucked.
Oh wow!
So I had to go back and watch some of this stuff. So I had to watch a lot of it. I was even pulling out my phone to see what was going on at times. So that kind of sucked. Thankfully, night 2 they had it on the whole night because there was no big games on. But I mean, the just watching the video of some of these entrances, like we could talk about. We didn't get to the Ray Dominic stuff, but the entrances alone.
Dom's entrance was fantastic.
I mean, I didn't hear, but we're going back. What like this video? He starts off in the like he's sitting in a cell. They pick him up. They take him in the van. What's the way he was? His body language, the way he acted in this whole video, incredible. They bring him in with the police escort. It was really over the top and exactly what it should have been.
Absolutely.
I think just the entrance alone, I was like, okay, I already got what I wanted out of this match. This is it. Being escorted by some well-known indie guys. Actually, believe it or not, we had Officer Dan Barry there. You just did commentary on Bloodsport 2 nights before. I seen him do stand-up, open up for Mick Foley last year. Believe it or not, funny guy. Nice. The guy on the left with the gray hair. Was escorting Dominic. Couple actual well-known indie guys were out there. I'm sure somebody will tell me in the chat maybe if there's any fans. But yeah, then we had Ray's entrance with the lowrider. What did you think of that? Snoop and everything.
I think if anyone was to come out to Eddie's theme song, it should have been Dom. But
I know we talked about that.
It was good usage of it.
It was good fun. A little changeover from Snoop's song to Eddie's song, back to Ray's song.
Yeah.
Then Ray deciding he had to climb up those. It seemed like the 50,000 steps. A huge set. Felt bad for him. Of course, Ray got to give a high five to the cinnamon toast crunch emoji, played by none other than NXT Rising Star Sol Ruka. So shout out Sol Ruka there for that spot. Good for her. Yeah, what'd you think of that little average? I mean, I thought it was all right. It wasn't like over the top. Like the advertising wasn't like some people said it was. I didn't think it was. Like, so what? There was a little mascot at ringside. It didn't really play into the match. I thought it was kind of funny. You know, like my friend said, we got a father and son beating each other with a bowl of cereal outside.
Yeah.
So appropriate enough, right? Yeah. I mean, it was all right. They did a couple little advertising. They made a lot of money off it. I'm surprised they didn't do it sooner. Apparently Vince never really wanted to do it, but I mean, every sport's doing it.
They say initially it was supposed to be a New Day match based around Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah, it probably would have been something with them, and obviously they didn't make the card with the unfortunate.
Yeah, it's good. What we got was far less than
we probably would have got them in the four-way in the tag title tag team multi-man match anyway. That's probably what would have happened, and we probably would have had that then. But I thought it was kind of funny considering it's a father and son fighting at the breakfast table, you know. So I thought it was a kind of funny thing. It was oddly enough the four-way tag match was brought to us by TurboTax, which I thought was pretty funny. But hey, like I said, we're used to every sport we watch has like everything is sponsored. The replay is sponsored, the challenge is sponsored, the timeout, the halftime, the pregame, whatever, all has a sponsor. And you know, it apparently brought him in quite a bit of money, as you might imagine. So I thought it was a decent integration where it wasn't going over the top. Maybe some people thought otherwise. I don't know. Yeah, Tina, that was pretty cool. I mean, he definitely he's made quite a few appearances. He is a Hall of Famer, so and with good reason. Yeah, obviously he's a fan. He just loves being part of it. And when we get to night 2, we'll talk about something that really earned our respect, I think. But I think Snoop gets the business. We've seen him obviously on both WWE and AEW, so kind of made up for his Snoop splash. But we'll talk about that later. We also had. You're back. Oh, we were just talking about Ray and Dominic. Cereal bowl being ringside, or the cereal person being ringside. Thought it was appropriate. What'd you think of that whole spectacle? Hello. We lose you again? I'm gonna be chat. Well, we hope so. We hope so, Colt said. We don't at least be kicking a ring in another month from now. We'll see.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
I can't hear you though. You guys keep going, and I'll figure it out.
Sure. All right. Yeah. So it was a fun little match. It was what it had to be. It was hilarious when Michael Cole was marking out when Ray was beating his son with a strap.
With the belt,
If you saw the clip of him, he stood up and he was getting so excited. It was because he hates Dom. My uncle hates this man. He can't stand him. I thought it was pretty cool. Obviously, Ray going over. I know we probably talked about Dom is the project here, but I understand why they had him go over. It's WrestleMania. I don't.
Dom will get.
It's only step one. It's only step one.
Yeah.
We're obviously moving towards something next month for Backlash. That should be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Which we saw the little seeds planted here. I think we brought up the possibility maybe Bad Bunny will show up here to set up something for next month, and it looks like we're getting that. We'll get to that on Raw later, but yeah, it was a pretty fun match.
It's worthless system here.
Oh no!
I don't know why I pay all this money for this. And
we got a pipe bomb here for
freaking StreamYard. I swear to God,
killing us. You're killing us.
StreamYard's gonna cut our mic.
We're about to have our all out scrum here.
What are we doing?
We're shooting on StreamYard.
Talk about Dom.
Yeah, we were just talking about the match and all that. What'd you think?
Dom needs to win King of the Ring.
We all agree on that, I think. Dom and yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like we're getting that probably Bad Bunny and Ray against Dom and Priest.
Oh, who said that one?
Yeah, I think you said that for anybody else. We got that in the chat. Yeah, they probably been listening because you did say that on the air. And looks like that is confirmed now. And well, it wasn't officially announced, but it's pretty much confirmed. And I'm sure that I'll have to main event the show, being
It's going to be Bad Bunny and Mysterio.
Yeah, that'll be a fun match. And they'll probably win that one too, but Dom is far from finished here. This story's going to go a little further. I'm sure we'll get a final blow off, maybe a SummerSlam or something.
Bad Bunny is hosting. He's hosting.
He's going to do both. Why not?
Like The Miz did.
Like The Miz did and Snoop.
Dom is just so good in his heel work that losses aren't really affecting him. So
it made sense here, like I said, for him to he's got to get a little bit of comeuppance here. It's been months of him challenging his dad for nothing in return. So I have no problem with that. I know there was a lot of people who are upset with some of the choices this weekend, but if it makes sense for the story, if it makes sense for the story we're watching, I have no problem, especially at WrestleMania.
Listen, if that's what you were upset about, then
yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
They had to do that. They had
too many people were upset about Ray winning this match, but maybe there were some.
I was a little surprised.
Yeah,
but it makes sense.
Yeah, we know either way this is far from over. So
it is far from over.
We'll get a big blow off where I'm sure he actually will put over his son. It won't be a problem.
Oh yeah.
So night 2, right? Night 2.
We talk about we can move to night 2. Nothing else. Tag title match was awesome. We knew it would be. Let's move on.
We kind of knew the outcome of that, right?
That was a nice. It was a nice way. It was a nice moment for them.
The most predictable match on the card.
For all the people that complain about Sammy not getting his WrestleMania moment, well, there it was.
They had to get the belts off the Usos or Jey Uso to take his place as the head of the table.
Sure. And it makes sense. They lose their title reign first. And what happens? What happened this week? They were downplayed. Roman didn't want anything to do with it. Which we'll get to in a second as to why certain things have to happen for these stories to make sense, folks.
Correct.
You think the Usos will be on SmackDown or still punished?
Well, they're advertising Jay versus Sammy right now. So
they are?
We'll see if that actually happens. I don't know. I know after this week, everybody keeps assuming things are going to change, but they are advertising that heavily right now.
Things are going to change. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know, but
the big underlying story that came out of WrestleMania.
Sure.
We'll just go right to the main event.
Let's go. We might as well.
The triple threat was amazing. It was a great match. Kind of knew Gunther was going to win. Yeah. In my opinion, it was the match of the weekend. But
probably, yeah. Shane McMahon blows.
Remember, I had this feeling the last couple weeks. I said it doesn't make sense for Cody to win the belt.
You did say that. You went right on record here last week. I said, you know what? That does make sense what you're saying. I wasn't really ready to commit, but you were ready to commit fully 100%.
Think about it. He missed 7 months, 8 months.
Right.
he missed chapters to the story.
Yeah, we just got this feud basically brewing right after the Chamber, so it's basically just been the last month of maybe Heyman and Cody.
He
and
won the
Roman doing-
Rumble. He challenged. Obviously, he's gonna face Roman.
Roman, the man who has nobody can beat, is he going to lose to somebody the first time?
Yeah,
and without a lot of help.
And I said there's going to be shenanigans. I said there's going to be shenanigans.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And there were. And
I will applaud. I will say where I was wrong. This
Okay.
is where I went wrong. And this is for all the people that love Cody Rhodes. He is fully cemented as a babyface. After what happened at WrestleMania, the company has fully endorsed him as their top babyface going forward.
100%.
There will be no heel turn. There will be no Cody Rhodes as a tweener. He is cemented as a babyface. You don't screw the guy over for him to then turn heel like this.
No.
Because this is going to be a storyline. It's going to take another. It could be to. Charlie thinks that another WrestleMania.
It could.
I think it might be sooner. But Cody's going to be okay, everyone. Cody's going to be okay. He's going to be all right. They need Roman as champion. You know why they need Roman as champion? They just merged the company. Another company. Go with the guy that's been bringing in the money. Why are you going to... Because this deal is going to take a couple months to be complete.
Sure.
Why put the belt on someone that's not a proven draw yet? Is Cody a proven draw? Charlie? Frank? Is he a proven draw?
He's close to it.
Bigger than Roman?
No.
Not
bigger,
close. Not quite.
Bigger than Brock? No.
I can't say that yet. No. I mean, people may make the argument, when they drew with All In and all that, but that was more of just a statement of smart fans of the Indies and all that. But yeah, he's been back. He's been back about 2 months now. He's drawn some good numbers, merchandise. He's drawn some good numbers, maybe on house shows he's been working. But we talked about on the show, you don't want him to be like the Super Cena. If he beats Roman cleanly the first time, nobody could do this. He's going to do it.
Who don't you want as champ, Cody? I think Cody is he's going to be the champ. It was too soon to do it at Mania. It was way too soon.
You could have done it, yeah, and yes, the crowd would have popped. And in the moment, I'm like, "Oh, did we miss an opportunity?" I know Charlie was.
No, but think about it. Think about it. What did everyone despise about the face Roman and the face Cena?
Yeah,
during their.
It's
that
true.
They were unstoppable.
It's true.
If Cody would have beat Roman at Mania clean in the middle of the ring, his first shot, who's going to beat Cody? Because we have the question, who's going to beat Roman? The question then becomes, who's going to beat Cody?
Right.
You have to have some comeuppance here. You have to have some struggle. And I get it. The next night on Raw, the whole thing with Brock, the tag partners, Brock turns on him. It's very, very similar to the way Cena's worst year ever played out. I get it. But sometimes rewriting history is a good thing.
Yeah,
and I think in the case of Cody,
he ended with
if they're putting him in the same sentence as John Cena, it goes to show you how invested they are in Cody Rhodes.
Right. And if you guys recall what happened at the end of that so-called worst year ever, because he lost a couple of matches, he beat Brock. He beat Brock the first time. At the end of that, he beat Rock and wins the title back. So
he won the Royal Rumble.
Here, wins the Rumble, wins the title. Are you telling me that people are not going to be just as excited if Cody wins it in the rematch than they would have been in the first match? People are saying, "Well, no." I mean, they did a great job. I mean, it was very big. Like for a match that only had that short build, and we were worried about how it was going to go. People were worried about maybe people aren't going to returning on Cody. It worked perfectly.
It just has to be on a big stage.
You solidified it.
Yeah.
Like at that moment, it would have got a huge pop. There would have been big pyro, everything. But after that, you said, then what? Same thing as about Sammy. If
He's gonna
Sammy had
face
beat
Roman.
Roman, what is
He's
happening
gonna
next?
face Roman again. Everyone's gonna go, oh well, he's gonna just beat him again.
Yeah, what's the excitement there? People think that we can't hold this off for a while. You don't think they can find some other people to throw at him in the next couple of months?
They have to build up other people.
Yeah.
At the same time, they're building up Cody, and that's what they're doing with the Theories, the Gunthers,
Right.
those guys, because Cody's going to need opponents once he
Sure.
becomes champion.
Yeah.
Right? And logically, who's it going to be? It's going to be guys like a Theory. It's going to be Gunther. I even think Cody might even just get cashed in on when he wins the title. I still think that's the ultimate move. You got to Daniel Bryan him. When Daniel Bryan won at SummerSlam and he beat John Cena and Randy Orton cashed in on him,
made him much bigger of a babyface at the end of it.
It made the fans rally behind Bryan even more.
Mm-hmm.
I was even eating up hook, line, and sinker.
Sure.
And I'm not the biggest Danielson fan.
And what happened when we got to Mania? It was explosive. When he finally
They're doing they're rewriting two storylines into one.
Yeah.
And when you look back, those storylines were great storylines.
Right. And
Two of the best they've ever written for baby faces.
And there's some nuance here, with the fact we talked about the Usos failing, then the Usos do a run-in. They failed to help him in the match. Yeah. Solo helped him. So what happened on Monday? Who was with Roman? Solo. Where were the Usos? They were kept backstage. Tell them to go back.
Remember,
and then
you have this Money in the Bank.
Yes.
Right? Money in the Bank is in England?
Right.
Yeah.
London.
Okay. It's not in the realm of possibility that Jey Uso wins the Money in the Bank.
Right.
To me, he's the logical person to win the Money in the Bank. Because Roman would think, in his own mind, in his own character's mind,
right,
that briefcase is for me in case I ever lose the title. I can get my rematch right back, or I can get my comeuppance. Now, imagine he loses to Cody. He thinks Jay's just going to give him the briefcase, and he immediately cash in. He turns on Roman, and then he cashes in on Cody, becomes the head of the table. And then you can have Roman take the break. You have now Uso elevated. You have to elevate other guys.
Yeah, we do have to elevate other guys. That's the whole purpose of this. And with this whole sale / merger, you're going to think this big company, they're going to want some big guys on here.
No.
Solo beating.
Yeah, there's always rumors. He's probably.
He takes some
Roman needs
break after WrestleMania.
He might not be on this next. He might not even be on Backlash, and that's fine. He doesn't have to be on every show. They've done a good job of all that time off has actually helped him. Because imagine if Roman had to win like a token title defense every month, how boring that would get.
That was and they were doing that when he faced Cesaro.
It just didn't work.
Why did we need Cesaro in a title match? That guy is garbage. He sucks. He's a terrible wrestler. He's got no personality. Sorry. He's not good.
Which is why he's no longer there.
Yeah. 44 and hasn't made it. Sorry. Couldn't draw anything. But every internet wrestling mark wants to put the belt on him.
You know when his best friend was? When he was second fiddle to Sheamus in that tag team.
Yeah. Charlie, your thoughts?
No, you guys are absolutely right about Cesaro. That's for certain. But
he can be a main eventer now that he's in that other company. But that's another story.
You got Gunther on his way up. You got Solo on his way up. You got Jay. Jay needs to complete his story just as much as Cody does.
We got Jimmy laying there too. We've got
King of the Ring is a perfect time to build up another contender.
You have Theory. You have Dom. You have Gunther.
Yep.
And
we talked earlier about Braun turning heel. Whenever he eventually comes up, another possible challenger in the future for Cody.
They're stacked. If you notice, they're developing more heels right now.
Right.
Yes. Which I love to see.
Which tells you they pretty much, like we said, they've chosen who their top baby face is and who their top face is. Period.
Their two top baby faces are Cody and Seth.
Right. And then you have Sammy and Kevin below them. You've got but you're right. You got Cody and Seth right now.
And you have possibly Drew McIntyre, but I mean, I think he's AEW bound, to be honest with you.
Probably is.
Really?
Yeah, I think his contract's up pretty soon.
Huh.
He probably is as much as we don't want to say that, but I mean, it's probably good for him too. Honestly,
it would be like the best move for him.
Yeah,
because I think he would automatically be the AEW champion, matter of minutes, and he'd be the most believable champion they've ever had.
Sure. I mean, he definitely looks the part more than some of the guys there. I hate to say it for all you guys. Don't get offended for me saying that. Well, you shouldn't.
I mean, Moxley just looks like a lackey now.
Yeah.
3-time AEW champion.
He's playing lackey to Danielson, who's basically going on like a Bob Backlund 1994 esque last night. That's what it kind of reminded me of. Not that I thought it was bad, but I'm just saying that's what it reminded me of. Except that Backlund never tried to stab somebody in the eye, but which funny enough, when Seth was doing it, it was stupid, but it's okay for this man to threaten to stab a guy with a screwdriver.
So I guess the big people were really disappointed in Monday Night Raw, right? I guess we'll just jump right into that.
This seems to be the thing. Like first, like Monday morning, people were like upset about Cody not winning, and then that turned into all the stories about the sale going through, and then we get to Raw. Everybody's hyped up. They do a big number, and we obviously we got the Cody. I mean, we got the Brock turn on Cody. We got the Bad Bunny stuff leading, obviously, set up their match.
So let me dive right into it.
I could understand where people's heads went because mine went there too. For Triple H to come out and say, we're not going anywhere, and then have an MMA-based Monday Night Raw with Riddle and Brock Lesnar, it seems a little iffy. It seems a little iffy.
They probably just didn't like the segment and decided to change it, which is fine. All right. So you got to think like this is a business, right? At the end of the day,
right?
And it's still Vince McMahon's business until this merger goes through.
Yeah.
So if he wants to take control of everything,
he's going to do it.
He's going to do it. Why would if you see something that you think is wrong, and you have the power to change it, wouldn't you want to change it?
Of course.
And he could have done it sooner, honestly, be honest. He could have been doing it all this time, and he's laid low. I mean, he might have done it.
And that's what he did, right? But let's go back. When Triple H took over in July, right? In August. What did I say repeatedly on this show? You tell me.
But has it gotten any better?
Has it really gotten any better? Or are we just doing returns for the sake of returns?
Right.
Where are the stories, right? So now
the stories were the same stories that had been there before. That had been
8 or 9 months later. Tell me, from everyone that re-debuted, returned, got called up from NXT, tell me the impact that any of them have made. No. There you go. None of them have made any impact. Did any of them factor into WrestleMania? Damage Control. You know what happened to Damage Control? They got ran over. You know what happened the next night on Raw? Vince McMahon strutted his ass back into Gorilla. Bayley threw herself back on the floor. And she's probably out. And you know what? Good riddance. Bye. We don't need you. Bray Wyatt, he knew this was coming. All of a sudden, he's sick boy. He can't wrestle, but he's driving around in LA. Bye.
I saw him at the airport.
See ya. See ya. Because these are all people that they actually took advantage of Triple H. If you really think about it, they took advantage of Triple H being a nice guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Vince is like, you know what? I could be nice, but this is also a business. You guys aren't moving the needle the way I need you to move the needle. This is what I need you guys to do. And they obviously have balked at it, and bye. Look, Karrion Kross. We all loved Karrion Kross.
Mm-hmm.
What has he done?
Nothing.
Can we say that maybe Vince was right here in the first place? He didn't see anything in him.
It seemed like Triple H is very good at dressing wrestlers up in their smoke and mirrors.
Right.
In the case of Karrion Kross.
100% what it was.
Bray Wyatt. Bayley obviously has lost a step in the ring. She's lost a step. She's not the same wrestler.
Right. But yet she's been brought back. She's been giving her own stable a lot of TV time over the last 6 months.
Way too much TV time.
Way too much TV time. And I like these three individually, but it just didn't work. What did we get out of this? What did it do? Did it really help the other two? Has it did it really do that much for you or Dakota? Where did they
so
go
again, the people that have watched WWE in chat over the last 8 months, correct me if I'm wrong, but was it really better under Triple H, or are we just perceiving it as better because there's a bunch of people that returned that you liked, but were they impactful at all? Did they move the needle at all? Did they factor into the greatest show of the year? No, they didn't. None of them did.
Gargano had to do NXT to be involved in anything. So
yeah,
and
for all the people that are decrying, they're decrying. Oh no, what are we going to do? The Vince is back. Something's going to happen to him. What's happened to him so far? Nothing. And I like him. I like the guy. He just doesn't fit in this big pond. Small pond, yes. NXT for sure. But it's just. I said on the show months ago, perception is reality. When you kept asking me what's happening, perception. Let me ask chat this: if you didn't know that Vince was there on Monday night, and know this story didn't come out that he was there, would anybody have really noticed anything different? Or they may have said, "Oh, this wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be." Where's the debut?
But there's a reason why. Because I just said we've gotten returns and surprises the last 8 months.
They've been worth nothing.
And they've been worth nothing. Why are we going to do it the Raw after WrestleMania?
Big surprise. Well, exactly. Big surprises, big signings. What do they do? What do they do for either big company right now? Jay White here on Dynamite.
There we go. Everyone thought Jay White was signing with WWE.
And he probably might have been until
Vince strolls in. Probably said, no, that's not happening. We already have AJ. We already have Finn. We don't need another Bullet Club leader on the roster.
Right.
Sorry.
So
Jay White goes to AEW and he's with Juice Robinson. What an impact that is.
The opening segment. Poor Ricky Starks too, right? That guy's got to be getting out of there as soon as he possibly can.
He's WWE bound, no doubt. He's WWE bound.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I don't know, man.
And I think in many ways, Vince coming back will help AEW. And I said this in our chat.
Yeah, you did say
because a lot of the wrestlers who wanted to go back because Triple H was in charge, they won't now because Vince is in charge. Right. So your FTR, your Punks, your
you've seen that already.
Wardlow, Starks. I think Starks is gone, but
I think Andrade's
there's a few that will probably Miro will probably stay now, right? Because he didn't really like Vince.
He doesn't really like Tony Khan either, but yeah.
But you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying, 100%. It's better for them, and it's also it reinvigorates their audience that we're going against the man, down with Vince. We're going with the underdog billionaire here, The
one that has more money, but
when it has more money and it doesn't blink ever. Scary, folks. Big announcement.
Fight Sparkle.
So we had a big announcement this week from Tony Khan where he didn't blink within like 3 minutes, and I was quite impressed actually that the man doesn't blink. Obviously, they announced a big show in London apparently a week before. So apparently we're gonna have All In and All Out 2 weeks in a row. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure they'll sell a lot of tickets to Wembley. Good for them. Good for the UK getting some good shows.
So the people that say they don't want to watch, you know what?
Yeah, they weren't watching anyway. They weren't watching anyway, man. Even with Triple H in charge, I heard people saying, "Oh, this still isn't that good." They're not going to watch anyway, and that's fine. That's what it is. There's a reason why Endeavor wanted to buy this company so bad. They're making money.
They're going to end up. WWE is going to release a bunch of wrestlers, which is fine because they signed way too many again.
Hopefully, it'll be these people that we're talking about.
Hit Row.
Won't miss them.
There is no reason to bring them back without Swerve.
Right. He was the star.
Right. Karrion Kross is going to be gone. I wouldn't be surprised if LA Knight is gone. But I think Bayley's gone. Which is fine.
Sometimes you need to shake it up. And actually, might be addition by subtraction here. And if Tony Khan wants to sign all these people, which I'm sure he will, go right ahead, man.
I believe a lot of these people have been cancers in the locker room.
Seems like it.
I don't think that's the case with Karrion Kross. I just think with Karrion Kross,
He just doesn't hit, you know?
he lost his. I think when he got hurt, it killed him. When he was in NXT and got hurt,
Hurt in this,
after
when
he
he
won
won
the
title.
belt,
Yeah, it hurt
he
his
was never the
momentum.
same after that.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's just kind of there. He's smoke and mirrors, and it's not going to work otherwise.
Kross is just boring. Not
boring,
they
but
book him to be boring now,
right.
because if you look at his Impact stuff, his New Japan stuff, when they gave him vignettes and they gave him good interview time and they made him more of like an assassin than a mythical character, that was his wheelhouse.
Sure.
They made him more of this like atypical monster, and that can only go so far. Look at Bray Wyatt, right?
100%.
So you need to humanize people, but I think with Karrion Kross, they went and they humanized them way too quickly.
Yeah. Honestly, he'd be a better fit somewhere else. Maybe not AEW, but maybe back to Impact, maybe one of these other places. Maybe even a New Japan running again, like you said. I'm sure he'll get some work somewhere. My point being, I don't want to see a bunch of sad tweets when they release all these people that have done nothing.
No, and then I saw the possible, because going into the Raw on Monday, Matt Cardona is going to be Cody's tag team partner. And I'm going, why? Why? How would that make any sense that you're going to elevate that guy to a main event?
WWE canon, too, a guy that was never anything. Like the connection's not there in their story. You'd have to tell that story.
And why would Matt Cardona want to give up his championship title shot to be Cody's partner?
Well, that wouldn't have been the thing. Obviously, they would have to rework that because he wasn't on WrestleMania. I don't know. It made sense for Brock. I mean, there was another thing we didn't touch on. Roman was asking Paul if he knew he was going to be there. Is there some sort of subtext there that Paul and Brock had a bit of an agreement here?
I think so.
And what exactly does Brock getting in return? Is he promised him a title shot? Is he even though he said he couldn't have it no more? Which is something I didn't even remember, but they brought it up on TV the other night about Brock could never get another title shot with Roman's champ. But yeah, there's definitely something going on there.
Is this going to hurt Peacock?
No. It's been said there's no talks in moving WWE's network.
They can't. They have a 5-year deal, so they got like 2 more years to go after this year, so they can't do anything about that.
That was my first worry too. I'm like, does this mean WWE pay-per-views are going to be $75? Like
not right
will.
now. They will be one day. I think the big ones will be maybe not $75, but they're going to be out, and people will buy them. They're going to say they're not, but they will. Charlie, you going to tell me you're not going to watch WrestleMania?
No, I'll still buy. I'll still buy.
Honestly, the pay-per-views, that was never. It was a bad idea to do that from the start. They needed that. See, because they started the network as its own thing. If they had started by selling their content to another, they didn't really have anything at the time. There wasn't really anything out there. When they started the network, it wasn't a lot of streaming services out there. What do we have? We had Hulu, we had Netflix.
Thank you.
If they had started with a deal like that, then maybe they wouldn't have put the pay-per-views on there, unless the company wanted it. I mean, my whole thing of getting the network in the first place was all the archive content. The pay-per-views was like a bonus.
Peacock has butchered. Their system is terrible, where they put everything.
Just their UI is awful. We've talked about that many times on here.
It was better when it was its own platform, when it was WWE Network.
I mean, it's pretty stable for live streams for me, but as far as the actual UI, the whole setup, it sucks. There's no chapters. There's you can't search,
and it skips from Royal Rumble to Royal Rumble instead of I want to watch the Royal Rumble from '93, and then I want to watch Mania 9.
Doesn't let you do that.
Like the network used to do. Like it would go
chronologically.
So what we're saying is we hope, obviously, when that deal is up, they're going to have to renegotiate that, and hopefully they find a better partner. Obviously, we could have the TV
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if ESPN Plus they're going to just grab it because they already have that relationship with.
Yeah, they
UFC.
wanted it. Supposedly, they wanted it 2 years ago, so I could see that happening.
And look at ESPN's coverage of WrestleMania this past weekend. You don't think that's already been discussed?
I'm sure it has. I'm sure they already have an agreement in place, probably, at least like an idea, like what we can do. And they'll probably be a better experience when they run it on their app, obviously.
I wouldn't be surprised if ESPN doesn't take SmackDown. Because
Yeah.
I think SmackDown is
Oh,
up
shit.
soon.
After actually, it's up next September, not this September. So yeah,
Yeah.
the TV deals is something we didn't talk about. Usually they're being negotiated around this time. Obviously, they put the sale through before the deals, which is something Nick Khan said was possible. And here we are. So obviously, UFC has had a lot. I mean, or Endeavor, I guess we should say, not UFC, has experience with negotiating for TV rights and everything. Obviously, what they did with the UFC. So it should be interesting what happens. I think they'll probably keep Raw in USA because USA needs Raw. Honestly, that's the only show they've got that really does anything for them anymore.
Yep.
But for SmackDown, yeah, you could see it on ESPN for sure.
I mean, it would make sense.
That'd be big. That'd be a
ESPN's
big thing for them. Honestly, that'd be big for them.
They're looking for live content. They do have the NBA, I think, on Fridays, but they can always switch things around.
Or they can move SmackDown to another night. I mean, but whatever works. Obviously, they wouldn't get as many viewers as they do on network, but ESPN is a much more prestigious than USA. So
they can even bring back the pre-shows.
Yeah,
make everything feel like a big event again.
Yeah,
like they did. Remember when the network first started and they had all the pre-shows and the post-shows?
Right.
That was awesome.
Now we get these little press conferences now, but they weren't doing that for a long time. I mean, when they first started. We had a 2-hour pre-show this weekend, but nothing was really going on. But they used to really make it feel more like a legitimate sports presentation, which is what I thought a lot of people wanted. But we'll see. It's like I said, it makes the most sense, this merger.
Thanks. Thank you for subbing. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you're concerned that the company's going to go down the tube, I wouldn't be concerned. The company's in good shape. Vince isn't going to be. I don't think Vince is going to be at every show. I just think for the next couple months he's going to be at most of them.
Yeah,
because he wants to make sure that this deal doesn't fall through.
Yeah, that's something people aren't thinking about. Oh, they made this deal. I said, well, it could still fall through. They got to go through all the process, and he wants to be there.
Make sure that there's no hiccups.
Yeah. He tends to make a lot of money, like we said, off this deal. He's going to want this. Everybody laughed. Everybody laughed when he wanted $9 billion. Well, guess what? Guess what they got valued at?
He got it.
WWE stock today is over $100 for the first time in a long time. So yeah.
So fast forward. What's the first pay-per-view under this umbrella?
SummerSlam, probably.
SummerSlam.
Oh, like when they fully take over? Possibly SummerSlam, if not, maybe a little late. I don't know how long this is going to take. But
okay, what you got to do is make SummerSlam bigger than Mania.
Yeah, and
that's where Roman loses. This is what I'm saying. This is where Roman.
This company's going to want it. This new company's going to need something big. They're going to want a big thing. You don't think Emmanuel's going to say, "Hey, we need something big."
Yeah,
like said, they're going to make some cuts, but there's going to be a point when they're going to want to spend some money here because they're going to want to make this a big thing. They did it with UFC. They're going to do it.
And you have the UFC fans concerned that WWE people are going to go into UFC and vice versa. And you know what? UFC, the stars that are not stars anymore in UFC. The guys and girls, the ladies that are not winning anymore.
Right.
You know what? It might not be such a bad thing if they go to WWE.
Sure.
Right? Masvidal, McGregor.
Natural fit, honestly.
The Diaz brothers.
Yeah.
They're tailor-made for WWE.
They certainly are.
Think about the ladies. Ronda Rousey has take away the last run here, but WWE has done a great job presenting Ronda Rousey. They tried.
Right. She was given everything possible to get her to that spot.
I'm sure they could do that with someone else.
And now it makes it much easier of a transition with being in the same umbrella. It doesn't mean they're going to be at all their shows, but when they're ready, that's the natural progression, and it's also more value for the company.
Under the Endeavor deals, the wrestlers, in UFC, they can have their own money. So they can have their own Twitch. They can have their own OnlyFans. They can have their own whatever. So it's going to happen with WWE. Why wouldn't you want to work for WWE?
Yeah.
Okay, Charlie, what do you think?
You're looking at a joint company that's going to be worth $21 billion. If anyone's afraid of where either company is going to go in the future, get off it.
Yeah. For all these comments that I'm seeing, oh, they're going to fail in 5 years. Like,
no.
This company took UFC, which was failing, and took them to this heights.
Everyone is safe. I can assure that.
Outside of the people that Vince doesn't like. But you know what? The people he doesn't like, I kind of agree with them.
Oh, no, there's going to be a laundry list of firings coming
But
up.
again, once this deal goes through, he's not technically not going to have final say on anything. So who knows?
But as far as the company's lifespans go between UFC and WWE, they're safe.
I mean, how much longer do you think he's going to do this? We always joke he's going to do this until he's 100 years old if he could. But I mean, he got the 2-year contract.
Charlie.
He's ready to take that money, take his bag. It will happen.
Charlie, you got a fan club.
That's good. Thank you.
Betsky. What's up, man? But
the Charlie fan club. All right.
Listen,
we got some CWO t-shirts to sell. All right.
Nice.
Vince is owed this time, right?
Yeah.
To make sure this deal goes on without a hitch. Like it just they
we
need
talked
to
about this when he came back,
That was the reason he came back was the negotiated deal.
And people thought, oh no, he's just doing it. I'm like, and what happened? The deal happened. At least
the deal happened. The deal happened, and he's going to make sure that deal is finalized.
Yeah.
And once it's finalized,
eventually he's going to fade off into the sunset.
And
he's going to fade away.
Finalized, all these marks that are crying about Vince running the ship again are going to wither in their parents' basements.
Oh,
and
Vince!
That'll be fantastic.
Vince has got to go away again. Go back to the beginning of the show. Well, when I hopped on,
yeah,
was it really that much better with Triple H? Was it really that much better with Triple H?
Look, it's the best of both worlds because Triple H is keeping his spot and Vince is back on. So,
but look, the only storyline that really developed into a better storyline with Triple H has been the Judgment Day Dom storyline. The bloodline was going on way before Triple H got there.
Yeah.
Sammy's involvement with the bloodline was going on before he got there.
Yeah.
Triple H had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Right? He wasn't even in the picture when some of these storylines were happening. All Triple H did was, oh, hey, you lost your job. You want to come back. You want to come back. You want to come back.
Right, his people.
None of these people did anything. Braun Strowman.
Oh, you didn't even talk about
Monster among men.
He's relegated to a tag match and
is on tag team.
Ricochet.
And he looks like $1 million. I hate to say this. Not even Tony Khan would have effed that up. Tony Khan would have put him as AEW champion day one.
He's in the best shape of his life. You're right. He's got all this stuff. Like, what's going on here?
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. He's tag teaming again on WrestleMania with someone shorter than him. Obviously, once was Nicholas. Sorry, I had to get that reference in there. But yeah, that's a good call right there. What's going on? He's been back for months now. What have they done with him? Has he even got close to a main event? Has he interacted with one of these top stories? No. What is going on? He's not even come close.
You had Bray. You have all these guys come back and nothing happened.
I mean, you could still have a Braun Roman. They have unfinished business, obviously, but nothing's.
So when is Bray? What's going to happen with Bray before we wrap up the show?
Future endeavored. Charlie. Future endeavored.
Mutual release.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to come back. To be honest, I don't think we see him on TV again. And so the last we saw of him was that Lashley weird segment.
Sucks, but future endeavored.
Bailey. Frank.
Now, why is Bailey in a bad case right now?
Well, because she wasn't on Raw, and people said it was supposed that she was cut out of the segment, like she was supposed to come to the ringside, and she wasn't. And then she tweeted something, right?
No.
She tweeted something.
That's the Meltzer. That's the Meltzer.
Yeah. I'm just explaining what the public story was.
She's feeding the information and the narrative she wants out there. bottom line is, her and Sasha are best friends.
Yeah,
Who did Sasha not like?
Vince.
Vince McMahon. So, you know what? If you don't want to work for him, that's fine. But just leave. Leave.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just it's funny how quickly people forget who made him a star.
She. On the flip side, Tony Khan would never make Bayley a star.
No.
What female wrestler has he made a star?
Jamie Hayter, but that's by accident. I wasn't even thinking anything he meant
That
to
was
do.
by accident. That's because I won't even get into it. But
I guess you could say Britt to a lesser extent. I mean, to a similar extent. But yeah, that wasn't really any, it was by accident.
who has made more stars over the last 20 years? Vince McMahon. They'll say, oh, he was the only show in town. But there's other shows. You had Dixie Carter. You've had all these other people with other wrestling companies.
I'm laughing at the comments there. And they might do it, Bensky. They might. If they want to stay, they can do that there. So
They can.
welcome back, Mandy Rose, maybe. I don't know.
Probably.
Anyway. And speaking of content, we didn't even talk about the I was just thinking about the Seth Logan match, but I think he'll be back. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think that's the last.
He'll be back.
Logan Paul.
He'll be back.
Great
It
job.
looks like Money in the Bank, we're probably going to get KSI and Lashley in a match. No, I'm being serious because KSI is from the UK.
Right.
Oh.
I'll be honest. I didn't realize who that was when the mask came off. Of course, the sound.
Yeah,
I told Charlie my sound was off at the bar for most of the show, but that was pretty cool spot they did. It was pretty awesome.
Are you guys okay with Brock turning heel?
Yeah.
I am. I mean, I like happy fun Brock.
He can still be happy fun Brock.
Yeah, he can still be happy. Just be a heel. That's all. He can still be he just depends on who he beats up. Actually, he's not really a baby. You got to remember, is he really a baby face or he's just a happy fun
He's
guy?
a badass.
Right. It's just he's shown more of a personality. He can still hug people in the audience and still beat up people if he wanted to. Like I said, we don't know the reason why he beat up Cody. This could be a thing with him and Heyman. This could be something else. Maybe he's sick of, Cody coming in here and getting this shot right away like that when he's been around. And he had to go fight. He had to stick around to fight Omos. I mean, in Cody's main eventing.
He's going to end up, that's the crown jewel main event, Cody and Brock.
Probably. I had said Backlash. I'm like, no, you know what? Probably not. Probably going to be actually King of the Ring, right? King of the Ring is the next Saudi show. No, King of the Ring is the next Saudi show.
Yeah, King of the Ring is the next Saudi show.
Yeah, King of the Ring / Queen of the Ring is
okay.
So, but still, that could be thrown on there for sure. It's a bonus match.
They love Brock over there.
And that'll be a great match. We know it. Cody will sell for Brock.
Cody's gonna get suplexed 29 times.
He'll overcome it, or he can even lose and then come back and beat him. There's a lot of things you can do. You're gonna make Cody.
I hope he loses. I hope Cody loses.
That would be good for the story. If he gets destroyed,
Cody needs to lose against Brock. Cody needs to.
Then he has to build back to beat him. He can't beat Roman until he can beat this guy. He can't beat other people until he can beat this guy. There's a lot of stuff you can go here. People are going to be upset. He can lose a few matches. He's only lost one match since he's been back in WWE.
He beat Seth multiple times.
Right. Without getting that win back. So it'll be fine. I mean, it makes sense for what they're doing here. If you got to throw some obstacles in his way, if Roman, they're not going right back to him and Roman. I like how they had him immediately come out and challenge Roman, even though he turned it down, because it would have been kind of stupid if he moved on. So they're planting that seed. We're going to go back to this, and it's going to be a crazy gimmicked, over whatever you want to, everything you think of. Hell in a Cell. I said Hell in a Cell. Special referees, the bloodline's banned from the state, anything that's like Stack is so ridiculous, and then still have him lose.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
The other thing that I
maybe not then, but that's how
I forget who said this. Actually, I know who said this. It was Bully Ray on Busted Open. And he asked LaGreca and Dreamer, he said, if Dusty would have booked the main event of WrestleMania, how would he have booked it? and then they both thought about it, and they said exactly how that turned out.
Huh.
Oh yeah. Sure.
All right.
If you followed Dusty, I mean, maybe he would have. I don't think he would have booked the Dusty finish
And
there. But that's the way that
best
was.
part
back
that
then.
no one talks about was before the match, shaking hands and kissing babies. Literally shaking hands and kissing babies, Cody Rhodes.
And the best part that no one talks about is the end of the match with the rubber chicken.
Because you would think kissing hands and shaking babies,
or maybe a
or
little
shaking
around.
babies, whatever.
Shaking
Okay.
babies and kissing
Shaking
hands.
babies.
Liberty did
kissing
seem a
hands.
little shook up there. She did. Shaking hands with young Brody Jr. there, -1.
Yep.
He made his WWE debut again.
Shut up.
Everybody's jumping ship. Everybody's jumping ship, right? That's what I said that to you that night.
Remember.
Cody
Usually-
Rhodes.
We're going to talk about Snitsky any minute here. We're going to have a Snitsky reference.
When that happens, okay, when that happens, you would think the babyface would win the match.
Right, but they didn't.
Didn't happen. The story continues.
And at the end of the story, he's going to be the guy. Like we said, we talked about they were committed to make him the guy. He's going to be the guy.
Vince
no
McMahon
question.
personally recruited Cody Rhodes.
This is something we don't talk about, guys. Yeah.
Not Triple H. If anything, you know who would book him poorly? Triple H.
Triple H.
Cody Rhodes is the guy that took the sledgehammer to the throne. And you got to ask yourself, why has Cody Rhodes been booked so great so far? Because this is what Vince McMahon wanted.
100%. He respects that, man. Why? Because he went out and made himself something, and he respects that stuff. We've seen it before.
Because Vince did that.
Right.
Because Vince McMahon did that.
He doesn't like people sucking up to him. Like people think that like he has all these brown. He respects these kind of people because, like you said, that's what he did. He had to go out and make something out of his father's company. He took something and he went against the grain. Angered a lot of people.
Well, that's why he always respected Stu Hart.
Sure.
That's why he when he bought the Stampede Wrestling, he always had a soft spot for Neidhart and all these. He would bring him back, because he appreciated Stu Hart so much and what he did for the territories.
Right. And let's look at when he brought in Cody. We talked about personal recruiting. He brought him back. Everything Cody wanted. He got to keep his song, same gear.
Didn't change anything about him.
And I'm sure he probably had some suggestions, and he said, "No, I don't want to do that." And he said, "Okay, we'll go with if that's what you think. We'll go with that." He doesn't do that for everybody.
Not only that, but they raised it another level of presentation.
Right. Over the top in a good way. And his presentation here has been clearly his best so far. Like all the things we had problems we had with him in the AEW because it works differently here. So if everybody thinking like he's like that's the weirdest thing I thought of the week. That everybody thought that he's gonna bear like does that make any sense to anybody really? I don't know.
No.
He brought him in, he did all this, and now he's gonna be the one. So what are we insinuating he changed the result of the main event? No, that's where it was going the whole way.
Yeah.
Clear. What did Triple H say? Like if you listen to him in that post show press conference, story goes on.
Yep.
Because he knows what's going to happen. May not even be his idea, as we just said.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's it for today's show.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Quite an eventful week here. Thanks, guys, for joining in.
Hit the sub button.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all the engagement in the chat tonight. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was very good. We appreciate it. Good night. Good luck. See you later.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye, guys.